Welcome to another lesson. Please write down the learning goal at the top of your page. I can solve for the variable in a single variable algebraic equation. Okay, so we're moving on from expressions to equations. And the difference between expressions and equations is that equations have equal signs in them. Okay, expressions we've been factoring and simplifying. We can't solve an expression, but we can solve an equation. So we'll talk about that in a moment. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding x inside this expression right here. Equation right here. 8x minus 4 equals 20. That's an example of something that we're going to do. And to solve an equation, we need to know a very important rule that's going to follow for all of algebra for the rest of your lives. It's called the golden rule of algebra. And like the golden rule overall, where you do unto others what you wish to do to them to do to you, whatever you do on one side of the equation, you must do to the other. Okay? It's for every single equation, what you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. So, remember that. Also, to simplify a single variable equation, there's 3 steps to it. You must simplify each side of the equation. The second step is to move all terms with a variable to one side and all terms without variables on the other. Another way to think about this is also you can cancel out terms, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And then finally, isolate the variable by itself on one side of the equation. The operations that we are going to do in step 1 are distribution and combining like terms. The operations we're going to do in the second one are addition and subtraction. Finally, in the third one, we are going to be doing division or multiplication. Please be sure to have these steps in your notes, including what operations are going on with each step. Okay. We're going to take a look back at this equation again. And in this equation, for every single equation actually, you should split it in half, right where the equal sign is. So this is half of the equation, and this is half the equation. Step 1, which I'll do in color black, says that we need to simplify each side of the equation. So we first look at the first side, 8x minus 4. Can we combine like terms? No, we cannot, because we do not have like terms. Can we distribute? No, there's nothing to distribute in here because we don't have parentheses. And we do the same thing with the other side. The other side is just 20, so we can neither combine like terms nor distribute. So we're going to move on to step 2, which I will do in red. And step 2 says isolate the term with x on one side of the equation, which is this one, and move all terms that have do not have x to the other side, which are these two. Now, as you can see, this term is on the same side with the x. So we're going to get rid of that term, and we're going to get rid of that term by adding 4. When we add 4 to both sides, this part cancels out because negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And what we're left with is 8x equals 20. And so all terms with x are on one side, is 8x. And all terms without x are on the other, that's 20. That's 24. Once we have done that, we're on to step 3, which we'll do inside with blue. It says to isolate the x by itself by getting rid of this 8. We're going to get rid of this 8 because this is 8 times x. We're going to do the opposite of that, which means we're going to divide by 8. Because 8 divided by 8 is simply 1, and 1 times x is simply x. So we actually have 1x, but we don't really need to write the 1, equals 3. So 1x equals 3, or x equals 3. I'm going to box in the final answer. And what this means is if I were to plug in 3 for x and simplify, we would get 20. And so let's check that out. Every single problem, you're going to be required to do a check to see if you are correct. So wherever, to do the check, I'm going to replace x with 3 and write the equation out. So 8 times 3 minus 4 should get us 20. Following the order of operations, we do 8 times 3, which is 24, minus 4 equals 20. 24 minus 4 does in fact equal 20, so 20 equals 20. That means we did it correctly. Okay. Notice this does not say does not say 3 equals 3. We don't need it to say 3. X is 3, but that just simply means that both sides of this equation are going to be the same number, which just happens to be 20. So that is your check. Let's try this one. Again, I'm going to draw a line down the middle. Step 1 is to simplify both sides of the expression. Again, there's nothing to distribute and there's nothing to combine like terms with, so we are done with step 1. Step 2 is to move all terms without x to one side and all terms with x to another. So this is the term with x, this is the term without x. We want this minus 1 to be on the out of this left-hand side. And we're going to accomplish that, getting rid of this minus 1 by doing the opposite of minus 1, which is plus 1. We're going to do both sides because of the golden rule of algebra. Once we do that, these parts cancel out, these terms cancel out. We get negative 2x equals 9. And 8 plus 1 is 9. We're on step 3, which is to isolate this x by doing division. And specifically, because this is negative 2 times x, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. This is x equals negative 9 halves. I am perfectly fine with an improper fraction. In fact, I prefer it. And that's the reason I prefer it is because it's easier to do the check with fractions. So, let's do the check. X equals negative 9 halves. So I'm going to replace x with negative 9 halves. Remember, see that? Negative 2 times negative 9 halves minus 1 will hopefully be 8. I'm going to put this over 1, cross cancel. We're going to get a positive answer because this is negative times a negative. It's going to be 9 over 1, which is simply 9, minus 1 is 8, and 8 equals 8. And we have the correct answer. X does in fact equal negative 9 halves. The last one we're going to do today is this one. Okay. Before starting this one, whenever I see a minus sign and a term, I'm going to change this to addition of the opposite, so we get 5 plus negative 2x equals 14. It's the same thing. It's just going to make things a little bit easier for us. Go ahead and try this one on your own, and we'll see if it's correct. So again, we're going to move any term without x to one side and all terms with x on the other. This is the term with x. These are the terms without it. This 5 should not be there, so therefore we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. This is step 2. Again, we cannot combine like terms or distribute inside this expression or equation. So, when we do that, we get negative 2x equals 9. Now, we're going to on to step 3, which is to isolate this x by doing the opposite of what it's currently doing, which is being multiplied by negative 2. We're going to divide by negative 2. Again, x just happens to be negative 9 halves. So, let's try that out again. 5 minus, or plus negative 2, negative 9 halves, equals 14. We're going to put this over 1 because we're multiplying a whole number by a fraction. These parts cancel out. We get 5 plus 9 equals 14, and 5 plus 9 does equal 14, which means, check mark, we did it correctly. Try the two problems out on your own, and talk about this a little bit more tomorrow.